Hello, everybody. Good morning. Good morning, Datalings. How are y'all doing today? So, today we are back to our morning schedule, which, to those who have been here before, before the Live 2D, I used to do, for one of my previous jobs, when I had one of my previous day jobs, I did these morning streams all the time, and, honestly, I don't know why I don't just start stream at this time. Anyway, just and stream longer. I try to do too much stuff out of stream, and I think I end up just sitting around a lot anyway too. Like I'll just sit and watch YouTube. But anyway, I used to do this before work, and it's got roughly the exact same time frame that we used to do anyway. It's kind of funny actually. But yeah, but yeah, we are back to morning streams. So this will be every day but Thursdays and Fridays, which will be the previous schedule still. So like on Thursdays and Fridays, we will do, well, it'll just be whenever on those days. I might stream early on those days too, but I don't have those are my days off, so we can do any time on those days. But probably expect either the old time or this current new time, probably in one of those two blocks. But yeah, and this Thursday we have a new Sullivan Night coming out with Mia. Freedom Days. Yeah, exactly. I don't know how long this is going to last because I've basically just got assigned this at my day job, so this will go for as long as they want me to be doing it, I guess. Or until I can find something that's not like that, doesn't work like this, at very least. But yeah, I thought it'd be nice. Madam Yorktown, hello. Uh, welcome back. I heard that you got banned. I hope everything's okay. Um, but but yeah, so I thought today, since it's a new schedule, it'd be nice to do a little bit of just chatting for a little bit, and then what's going on now? Nothing. We're just we're just chit chatting, hanging out. Good morning. All right, coffee here. More coffee here. Uh, anyway, but yeah, so this Thursday we're gonna have Mia Fox on for our next Sullivan Night episode. I decided we're gonna stop trying. I was trying to get every single type of tuber on, VTuber, 3D tuber, PNG tuber, flesh tuber, which they don't like to be called that generally, from what I've heard. They prefer to be called streamers. But I'm like, we're all streamers. You can't claim one category as your thing. But anyway, but yeah, but somehow every PNG tuber I knew said no. So I don't know anybody to I don't know who to invite on to test PNG tubers. So we're going to I just decided to skip it, and hopefully whoever I get for a PNG tuber eventually, if I ever get one, will be down to do some tech support beforehand, as I wouldn't know what to do. Well, madam, we've already had some loot tubers on, I'm sure. Or at least looter people than I am on, so same thing, basically. Corporeal tuber? Would that be like people with no cam or anything? They're just a voice? How would I even have them on? Like that would be like the most visually boring episode ever. Just yes, Cell talks to the voices for 3 hours. The episode. Oh no, the voices in my head. They be talking to me. about nerdy things. But yeah, yeah, no, we're but boy, um, but yeah, so we got this new schedule going. I need to, well, bleh. Okay, that's something I've been doing a lot lately. I'm like, I start talking without knowing what I'm gonna say, and then I'm just like, but just like, trip over my words a lot. I wonder why. Maybe I'm like not getting enough sleep or something. Anyway, so I did have a cool animation I wanted to show you guys. I've actually thought about going through all of the cartoons in my the cartoon section of my Discord because I don't think anyone else really watches them that often. And I try to like accumulate all the cool animations and anime because I love animation. So I thought about like going through and maybe just like actually sharing them. Although I'm not sure if I'll do that today, but that was an idea I found because I watched this really cute like Batman fan animation about the Joker, basically, like trying to get ready for his day. And it's like it's really cute and like oh no, something about it. I really liked it. I watched it at like 2 in the morning last night because I couldn't sleep. Do do do. Uh, but yeah, um, but yeah, yeah. I also, like I said, I need this. Like, I'm gonna start inviting whoever onto the show. After Mia, I think I'm gonna go try to hit up some people who I had to say yes. Mia asked to be on, so she gets priority. But but yeah, no, I'm going to. I have some ideas for some people I want to go invite on, and I think I'm going to go pursue some people who I believe I've talked about trying to get them on at some point or another. But uh, yeah, we're gonna go talk to people. I'm not gonna say names until I have people lined up. But yeah, yeah. What do you guys think of this morning stream? Going well so far? Uh, we're not gonna do just chatting the whole time though. We are going to switch to probably Max Payne 2 at some point. Cause Syl is getting ahead of me by a lot, and I just have to beat Max Payne 2, which is apparently fairly short, and then the Alan Wake DLC, and then I win. So I can't lose too much time and ground on our little race, but yeah, also I've been on like a huge Dungeons and Dragons like tabletop kick. And we like I said, we finally got Syl to agree to do D&D. She wasn't even the holdup. I don't know, I just wanted to play with my friends. And I'll be honest, a lot of the time nobody does anything if Syl like I kind of just get the feeling that people wouldn't do stuff like that if Syl wasn't interested. So but yeah, no, we got a little D&D group. I have like a little one shot I've kind of whipped up. I'm gonna dungeon master. And we are going and I kind of just combined a couple things from my some stuff from a web comic, some dungeon meshy, and a few other things. And I'm like, here's a basic plot, and I will make stuff up to make it more different as we go. But yeah, so and I think that'll be fun. Although I, you know what I find really interesting with that is that like when I used to play tabletop games, and if I reused plots from or like things from or plot points from something, like all my previous groups would just call me out for plagiarism. They're like, "You can't do that. Someone else already wrote that." And yet, like, that's funny to me because like apparently the majority of people who play like tabletop games use like the pre-existing supplements. And like part of me almost feels like if you were to do that in like any of the tables I grew up playing on, people would just be like You can't do that. You didn't create that. That's not yours. That's not original. I was talking about like tabletop games, like Dungeons and Dragons. I was just saying, I think it's funny that like as I've discovered that the majority of people who play tabletop games do like the pre-existing like pre-built campaigns for people, like Curse of Strahd or whatever. And like that's funny to me because like when I learned D&D and all the people I grew up playing with, I would have been called out for plagiarism, and I've been called out for plagiarism just for stealing ideas from other media. Like, not even like the whole plot. Like as an example, in a tabletop game once, I reused this one prison from Game of Thrones, where there is no back wall to any of the prison cells. And it's from Game of Thrones, and you're just like thousands of feet up in the air, and you're just like, yeah, you can either sit in your little cell or you can die. And you have that option at any time. And I, so yeah, I reused that in a D&D campaign, and I got called plagiarism. I didn't even steal the plot that was around. Like, none of the other things about that prison got used, except for just the idea of the prison itself as a cool idea. And I got called out for plagiarism from my old D&D party that I used to play with. And I just think it's funny because like if I used if I used like like a supplement like that was all pre-written from like D&D themselves, I feel like I would still get called out for not coming up with it myself. So I just think that's funny. That's the way the majority of the people play it, and not the way I've always played it, where you basically have to write your own fantasy universe every single time. Uh, you know, aren't those prisons a real thing IRL and not from Game of Thrones? I have no idea. I've never heard of them outside of Game of Thrones, so no worries, C9. But actually, like, I probably should call you Storm. That seems way better as a name. But but yeah, and like I said, I just find that funny. Like, just like, yeah, no, you cannot plagiarize D&D for your D&D campaign. Create everything yourself. I'm just like, oh, okay. And then I would have most of the time, I would just make it all up every time, is like what me and my friends always did. And I just find that really funny. But yeah, we are getting ready to do some sort of D&D thing with like I said, so far it's Sil, Novella, Motherly, Pokey, and Bongo. Sounds like a really high standard. I mean, fair, I guess. But like all of us did that, so I mean, like legitimately, I like it's kind of like I don't know. Like I said, it's just an interesting. I just think it's an interesting like different way to look at it. Although I think we were all such like fantasy nerds. It ended up just being how well can you disguise stuff that you're ripping off, basically. But I get caught. So, because like that's the way actually like writing stuff works, though, too. You know what I mean? Like, like if you're actually like writing a book, there's a lot of stuff in every novel that is just taken from other novels. You know, other stories, video games, movies, whatever, TV show. You know what I mean? So on and so forth. Everyone is always taking little bits of things from everybody else because that's how art works. Art is like a salad. Like you're gonna have some of the same stuff in there no matter what. It's just what you add to it and how you arrange it is what makes it different. You know what I mean? That's part of what makes art kind of cool, but also kind of probably what makes it able to be ripped off by AI. But hello. Um, but yeah, I So then it just ended up being just how well can you hide things that you're borrowing from other things? And yeah, but you know what I mean. It's still fun. Like I said, I've been planning on that. Because I guess I guess them wanting to finally agreeing and wanting to do that just caught me at a time when I was like listening to a lot of like Legends of Adventurous and like Critical Role and stuff. So I was just like, oh, I can do this. I want to do the thing. So I've been, like I said, I kind of went all gung ho about it, and I'm the only one. I'm like the big person putting energy into it right now, which is always fun. So yeah, looking really forward to it. Um, Actually, if I'm being honest, part of me is kind of worried, not for like the majority of them, but for Novella particularly, because she does a lot of D&D as the dungeon master, and part of me is like, oh no, what if what if I'm like below like her standards? I'm sure she'll be fine, but part of me is like, I don't want to embarrass myself in front of Novella, who does D&D all the time. I gotta make sure I plan stuff a little more. You know what I mean? I'd be evil with my campaigns if I ever created a fantasy world. I mean, that's fair. There's stuff for everybody. I am I'm taking the basic starting premise of like dungeon meshy kind of. There is an island and they found a dungeon on it, and everybody dungeons are things that basically spawn treasure and magical stuff like loot, and there is like a rush, like a gold rush type of thing going on for people to try to get into that dungeon and get stuff before, it like anything bad happens, because eventually dungeons have to get shut down, like taken out. And that is the most I've taken from Dungeon Meshi, just that. And then I took some stuff from this webcomic I've been reading called Chivalry Starved, and uh, that's pretty much it of what I've stolen. And it's just like I'm combining those two things, and then I'm gonna make up a bunch of stuff. Part of the idea. It's gonna be great. Although, when in doubt, just start killing people. Yeah, but I mean, like the campaign ends if you kill off NPC or player characters. Like that's the big thing with Dungeons and Dragons and other tabletop games. Unless you're playing Call of Cthulhu, where the point is to kill everybody, because everything in Call of Cthulhu is insta death basically, except for humans. Humans, fine. Get into a gunfight, kill 300 people. That's fine. That makes sense in Call of Cthulhu. Anything cosmological, you are probably effed. You're fucked. You're not getting through that. Like you're gonna die. Like, oh god, a demon velociraptor with tentacles and giant angel wings and uh whatever, it's flying around. Oh yeah, no, I'm not. It's bulletproof and fireproof and everything proof. And you're just like, oh no, what do I do? Get out of there. Like, nothing. You don't do anything. One creature like that is basically end of the world. Like, what are you doing? Like, we need several dozen priests and the entire U.S. Army to get rid of one creature. That's how Call of Cthulhu works. Hunting at Al Kahar Barak with a blicky in a dream. Yeah, but yeah, no, but yeah, in Dungeon D&D, it's better to like focus more on plot. And if you want to kill people, you should kill off side characters that the characters like. That does more, I think. Because what do you do if you kill off an NPC? Or I mean, if you kill off a player character, ooh, now unless they can go get them resurrected, like what else can happen? Well, the campaign's over. Like that person can't play anymore. And that's not fun to just kick somebody out, basically. Yeah, sorry, you should have rolled higher. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, but yeah, no, I've been really excited for that. I will say though, I feel like I personally cut off their legs. You know, just give somebody like swords for legs. Steal a mage's ability to use magic. Get one of those fantasy wheelchairs everybody was complaining about online like a few months ago, or however long ago that was. Oh my god. So I was playing World of Warcraft not that long ago. Like it was a couple months ago. Right during whenever that like big debate on like the fantasy should not have wheelchairs thing. And my problem with that is fantasy shouldn't have modern wheelchairs, not shouldn't have wheelchairs for the record. Like don't be lazy with clearly modern devices and just put them in the like fantasy world. Redesign them for the fantasy world and use that. Like you can be inclusive without. Oh, welcome to the Discord, Storm. But yeah, you can be inclusive without it like looking bad. Like I think the issue is that most people are like, you can't put wheelchairs in a fantasy setting. Like, what do you mean? They had those. Just stop putting modern wheelchairs. That's all you have to do. Like, look at the Avatar: The Last Airbender episode with a kid in the wooden wagon like wheelchair with the hang glider that he would like fly around and stuff. That was cool and it fit the setting. That's all you have to do, right? But anyway, I was playing World of Warcraft and during Dragonflight, and Dragonflight, which for the record was already an old expansion. It was an expansion, or so it was like it was during I think the one after Dragonflight. Anyway, there was a full dragon in a wheelchair, and it looked so goofy. And I'm like, you couldn't have designed. It's just its back half was sitting in a wheelchair, and I'm like, you couldn't have designed something for. Pretty sure a dragon should not have something else going on, right? Cut off his legs. He cut off a siren's top. Reattached the bottom fin to their body. Up. Hold on. I just realized that a mod. I don't. Anyway, cut off his legs. He cuts off siren's top. Reattaches the bottom fin to their body. Now you can swim. Sky Kid? You mean Spy Kids? I remember Spy Kids. Like those creepy thumb dudes and weirdly like adult quotes like you ever think God is down on his creations and just has fear of what he himself made or whatever, and it's just like that's from Spy Kids. I see that everywhere. Like that is such like a deep like sounding quote, and then it's like, oh yeah, what is that from? Oh, a 2004 kids comedy action comedy movie. The old man in the wheelchair. I don't, you know, I'll be honest. You know the Spy Kids movie I remember the best? Spy Kids 3. Spy Kids 1 and 2, I barely remember. I remember Spy Kids 2 more than 1. Literally, the further back in the Spy Kids franchise you go, the less I remember it. All I do know is that it's in the same universe as Machete, which I also haven't watched, but I just love the fact that there's a rated R like movie about Danny Trejo in the same universe as Spy Kids. Hear of what he created or something like that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that exact quote, Mac. I believe that is like 100% it. And it's just like, wow, what a deep, like heavy sounding quote from a 2005 children's comedy action comedy movie. Just like, oh, okay. But yeah, oh, the other thing I really remember is that that guy also created African animals that were all like tiny so that you could have them as pets. And like I remember like as a kid desperately wanting an elephant the size of a guinea pig because of that movie. I'm like, he made them in the movie. I want that. I want an elephant the size of a guinea pig. And my mom, I had to get like my whole world shattered a little bit. Just be like, that's he was a scientist in a mad scientist in a movie, Sal. That's that means it's not real. And I'm like, oh, I think that was actually up there on one of the first times I got like it pointed out to me that movies weren't real. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, is Spy Kids 2 with the table elephants or whatever. The world is a cruel place. Sobbing. Yeah. Actually, elephants are super cool because they.
Do you think God stays in heaven because he too lives in fear of what he's created?
Yeah, that quote. But yeah, actually, interesting thing about elephants, they actually might be as smart as people. They uh, they apparently have so much more of a sophisticated language in ultrasonic, like we have discovered that they sit and talk in ultrasonic constantly, and their ultrasonic is like it's in the lower range where humans can't hear. So they are talking constantly, and apparently ultrasonic also travels upwards of several miles. So elephants don't even need to be near each other to sit and talk. So they're always just talking and sharing information. It's really cool. Uh, and so since we have no way, like, when we have proven that they are capable of a lot more intelligent stuff than we think. Like, they are capable of creativity, which is, they're one of the only animals on Earth capable of creativity and, like, creative expression. Like, period. I think most primates don't even have that ability. So, that is super cool. So, there's a solid chance that they might actually, them and killer whales might actually just be as smart as people this whole time. And we just didn't know because we can't talk to them really. So at some point we could create a translator maybe and actually just sit and talk to killer whales and elephants. Isn't that super cool? Of course, like it's all like we don't that's it might be true, not it is true for the record. We don't talk about killer whales and dolphins. I am less scared of killer whales than dolphins, mostly because killer whales aren't as sketchy for the most part. Killer whales just murder. Dolphins do horrible things. But yeah, no, killer whales are really cool too, because killer whales are capable of like killer whales are one of the only animals on the planet there are the only animal on the planet outside of humans that are capable of hostage situations. And you're like, wait, that sounds terrible. But it's like, isn't that cool though? Like, killer whales will literally go to dolphins and create hostage situations. They'll just capture some dolphins and be like, bring us fish. Or Kiki gets it, or whatever the dolphin's name is. And the dolphins will just be like, okay, and catch a ton of fish for the killer whale. And then they'll just be like, bet, here you go. Kiki's yours. And that's a thing that killer whales do. And I made up the fish thing, but like that's still awesome and fascinating. They're the only animal outside of humans capable of. That's such a complicated social dynamic. If you think about it, though. Right? That is so interesting that, like, they're the only animal outside of human capable of even coming up with that. That implies that they are so intelligent. It's really neat. Also, killer whales are smart enough to realize that humans have technology enough to kill them. So that is why, unlike other sea creatures that are hostile, they actively choose, they are aware of how dangerous we are, despite us being so much smaller and frailer than them. So that kind of implies that they learned from us way back in the day, doing like whaling and such, and have spread the knowledge that we are not to be messed with. Like, that is like part of the killer whale oral tradition, or whatever you want to call it. They just talk about that. And they're like, they make sure all killer whales, like, pretty much all killer whales know that. That is not like a natural thing. Uh, hostage situation. Isn't that cool? Or smart murderous. Dolphins revel in evil. They're not all bad. I mean, dolphins scare me a little bit because they're not as nice as they appeared, but they're still fairly nice. Uh, like, in the scheme of things, like, they still do the whole like save people from the ocean stuff. And sharks are really cool too, because they are basically like, they're the most intelligent fish on earth. Like, they're a whole family of creatures. Hostage, not wrong. Hostage situations have a lot of responsibility for modern action media. Exactly. Like, that is so, like I said, it's just so cool that it's such a complicated. Yeah, they are, but they're not always that way. Like, the thing is that they're also they're also the type of animal that is very capable of, like, I guess I think the word would be like sympathy, and it would be the closest thing. Stuff like, if they see humans really far out to sea, a lot of the times they will swim them to shore and stuff like that. And like I said, they are fairly nice, even like, in the scheme of things, despite some of them being that way. If that makes sense. So dolphins are sketchy, but they're not as bad as modern media makes them out to be. Dolphins and sharks are both like, dolphins got a major, like, everyone likes them less sort of thing happen, and then sharks, everyone has started to like realize that they're basically just water puppies. They're pretty smart. They're fish. They have all have terrible eyesight, and they never actually really mean to get you. So, really interesting. I like both of those creatures. I like animals. Animals are cool. But yeah, I the get rotated meme. Yeah, I love that if you rotate a shark, they just like are asleep. They're just like, eh. Like, their brain just cannot function upside down. Federation, hello. Welcome in. How are you? Um, but yeah, a lot of animals, really cool. God, I wish I could just rotate and fall asleep, right? What would that be? Just to hang upside down? Isn't that how Mork and Mindy worked? But like, my dad made me watch an episode or two of that. With it's like an '80s sitcom with Robin Williams. It's where he had to like hang upside down or something. Sleep on stomach and boom, lights out. Every time I sleep on my stomach, I get nightmares about getting smashed or crushed in some way. Like, ever since I was a little kid, I don't like sleeping on my stomach. Like, that is like the only way to guarantee nightmares for me. Good, thanks. How are y'all? I'm doing good. Yeah. I Another animal that is significant face down, see the colors. Yeah. But yeah, no, for real. If I sleep on my stomach, I will have a nightmare that getting crushed by something every time. I like I said, I never sleep on my stomach. I'll sleep on my back sometimes, or I'm usually a side sleeper though. I just Yamcha pose. Knock yourself out in bed and dream shrimp colors. I mean, yeah, no, chimpanzees are scary. Bonobos are less scary. I think gorillas are the least scary of the quote unquote scary great apes, in my opinion, because they mostly just like, they have like a strict family dynamic, and they're very like territorial and whatever, but like, they're not like aggressive. They're more just like, please leave us alone. And if they're used to you being around, like in the nature preserve park, they don't even mess with humans at all. Other than if you were like something I find really interesting is if you've seen the video of the guy who is trying to photograph gorillas in the gorilla park in Uganda, and Mercury, hello, and he's trying to take pictures, and he got too close, and the silverback caught up from their little walk, and like because they were like walking in like a path, right? And he went up, grabbed him by the leg, like pulled him over, and just went back to the line because he was getting too close. Like literally, it didn't even mess with him at all. Just grabbed leg, make him fall over, like back up. And I'm like, heh. And then the monk the gorillas even laughed about it. I loved that video because it was just one guy in like a group of photographers who walked too close. Just big. And I just like said they're really cool. I like gorillas. I think gorillas are my like favorite animal actually. Baboons are really cool too. They are scary, but I think it's really cool that they are trying to learn from people because they started kidnapping wolves and other or not wolves, wild dogs. Should have pulled him back to the group. How amazing would that be if, like, a guy got too close to the gorillas, silverback gorilla walks up, grabs him by the leg, drags him across the ground back to the other photographers, and then walks back to the group of gorillas, just like, you go back over there. You don't get closer than that. This is the agreed distance. But yeah, no, baboons have started like taking because they started kidnapping. Okay, baboons are cool because they started learning from people because they started kidnapping puppies from wild dogs and raising them because they see humans with dogs. So they are trying. Baboons are trying to have dogs because they see us using dogs to do things like retrieve or hunt down other creatures and stuff. So baboons have been, and this is a fairly new development for baboons, if I remember right. Like within like the last like 100 years or so have they started doing this, and they're like integrating dogs into their family structure so that they can hunt things better. It's interesting. Yeah, just like give it another 100 years, they just kidnap people, and like suddenly you wake up and you're out in the field with baboons, and a baboon is taking over your life, despite them only being like knee high or like a little bit over knee high, standing up on two legs, just like yes, baboon, just like hello, I am human. Yes, me human. Go to work now. Get food, yes. I kind of love that actually. I actually at one point I tried writing a movie, like a sci-fi movie about like the first like like a gorilla, and I did it with gorillas because it was a because I like gorillas more. But I tried writing a movie at one point about like the first gorilla to get like uplifted with humans intelligence, trying to integrate into society. I didn't get very far, but I tried to write a movie at one point about that. I kind of fizzled out as an idea. I couldn't I was really struggling with anything beyond like the opening. I'm like, what's the plot here? I couldn't think of a good plot for like the rest of the movie. I just like wrote a big opening sequence, and then I'm like, okay, now I didn't know where to go with it. And then I sat on it for like 6 months and then like just never worked on it again. So then I'm like, I guess I'm not as interested in this as an idea for like a creative endeavor as I thought I was. Oh yeah, no, hippos are super scary. Did you know there was almost hippos in America thanks to Teddy Roosevelt? Thank God they invented like the refrigerator got invented. Otherwise, there would be hippos all over North America probably. because there was a bunch of food shortages in the American South during Teddy Roosevelt's era, and his solution was for us to start to import a ton of hippos into the American South, into like the bayous and swamps, and start farming them and hunting them in the wild so that we had an easy source of a lot of food because they're so big. Yeah. The funny part is that plan got so far into production before the refrigerator was invented and it was dropped that we even planted their primary food source from Africa as a plant into the South, and that is a invasive species now. Not even joking. Like, there is an invasive species in the American South that is literally some African like swamp plant basically that hippos love to eat, that we've put here with the intention of bringing in hippos. No, 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 no. Kudzu is another thing, I think. It's another one. It's just there is a type of plant that grows in and near water that is from Africa that we planted to feed hippos when we were going to release hippos in the United States, and we just never actually finished it. Finished that project beyond that. I can't remember exactly how that went. But like it got as far as like that one of those plants just is here now. Florida Man and his pet hippo would have been crazy alternate timeline headlines. Yeah, they chomp down a watermelon's real satisfying. But yeah, no, like I said, there is an alternative timeline where like Florida is just overran with hippos. How annoying Kudzu is. I've heard. Uh yeah, there is it the one from Japan that like completely like but well it's not from Japan. But the one that's in Japan that like overruns buildings or whatever and you have to like cut it back all the time. Those would have crocodiles and alligators. Oh, probably, yeah. But it does make me wonder if our plan for hippos was to eat them. Are hippos good to eat? Like, what does hippos taste like? That makes me genuinely curious what hippos taste like now. Like, their closest relatives are pigs, so they could be good. Like, my birthday Florida man fought an alligator unarmed before proceeding to resist police while trying to warn the Space Force of an imminent alien invasion. Can't just cut it up because it replants itself. Ah, I see. So what, you have to like burn it back? Really muscular pork? I could see that too. Hold on, what's my birthday Florida man? Let's okay, do you have to do the birth year? Or is it just the birthday? Uh Florida man was arrested after lassoing an alligator and tying it to a fence. The man called 911 to report the alligator, but videos showed a different story. Tied an alligator to a handrail. Called 911 to report the alligator. The man said the alligator had been eating turtles. He had called animal control. The man said he didn't lasso the gator, but the gator bit the rope and got trapped. They had to kill the alligator? That's messed up. Actually. That's like the least fun like Florida man story I've heard, actually. Aww. Uh but also welcome in Sylvine. I actually kind of like alligators. I like the baby alligators sound like laser beams. Just like pew 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 pew. Really cute. There's something else I was gonna. What does hippo taste like? Hippo has been described as tasting like cow bacon, but from a lake. Oh, you know what? I can kind of actually immediately see what that means. So if you've ever had beef bacon, like it has a different taste than like pork bacon. And then anything that lives in water tastes like it lives in water. So, you know, so like it just has that like it lives in water taste, but then it tastes like but then the whole thing has a sort of like semi porky, semi beef taste. That makes sense. I can see it in my brain. Anyway, enough about that. But yeah, like I said, I just think it's crazy that we almost had hippos being farmed in the United States. Like, just like the idea of that is crazy to me. Although, we have introduced hippos to South America now due to that one drug lord guy. So, we will have hippos in. Like, there's a solid chance they might come up here. Oh yeah, I saw the Shrek 5 teaser. They forgot how to draw Shrek and Donkey and everybody else. They It looks like they did it in AI. That's the crazy part. The invention of fridges could have been delayed by 2 days and there would have been a hippo war. I think it literally was down to like a couple months. If refrigerators hadn't been like invented like a few months later, or their like manufacturing like started didn't spread, took like another year to spread or so or something like that, we could just have hippos. And they could have been either farmed or they could have been like, who knows, like something to do with hippos would have been happening. And that's nutso, I think. It's like just like, yep, hippos. I probably would still not have seen one, but still lives over in that area, so she might have seen hippos. Actually, that might be a funny question for her if next time I talk to her. Like, what would you, Sil, hello. What would you have done if they had actually released hippos into the Florida Everglades in the 1920s? How would you feel about that? Hungry, hungry hippos, containment breach. Hungry hippos. I just think that's really funny. Just like, yep, could have had hippos all over the entire South. But yeah, yeah. All because thanks to Teddy Roosevelt and his love of giant exotic creatures. I'd feel strange. Yeah, fair. That is a very fair response to that. Just go outside, just be like, oh, hippo. Better get back inside. I feel like it'd be so much worse than an alligator in your yard. It would just be like, oh, nope, the hippo's outside. No music? I mean, I could turn music on if you guys want. Uh, I was only planning on doing like an hour or two of like an hour or so of just chatting before he switched to some Max Payne. There we go. Calling into work sick. Yeah, there is a hippo in my yard. I can't make it in today. Why don't just like like I just like how would you deal with that? I guess it'd probably be like when I dealt with the moose. Because I used to live somewhere in the middle of the mountains, and one day a moose just decided that our lawn was nice enough that it wanted to live there, and we had to wait like 3 months for animal control, like literally like the Parks and Rec services, to finally come and remove and fly the moose out of town. But it just decided to live in our yard. Hippo in yard, we eat good tonight. But yeah, with the moose, we were just like, go away, please. And it would just be like, out there moosing, you know. Uh,
Here we go. Welcome to Taco
yo,
Bell.
Storm, thank you for the raid. But, but yeah, like, and moose don't have that good of eyesight. So you basically just like, you're like, oh, is it in the front yard or is it in the backyard or the side yard? We can leave if it's anywhere but the front yard. And then you just have to leave somewhat quietly or very loudly. No in between. You can't leave. You cannot like go out quietly and then be loud leaving. You have to like stealth out or you have to like blast music from inside the house as you go outside. Basically, the moose either needs to never know you're there because it has terrible senses, or it needs to know you are coming the whole time. And it was scary because like moose have so like most deer have like the flight or flight reflexes of get out of there, right? No, moose have kick the crap out of whatever scared me. They choose violence. I don't. Moose scary, and they're way bigger than you think they are. They're like twice the size of a horse. So like they can just like casually walk over. They're like 8 feet tall sometimes. So they just like casually just like walk over like most vehicles. Yeah, no, moose are also they're one of their dominant predators in North America is the killer whale because they like to go underwater and eat underwater seaweed and moss and stuff. So if you go to like coastal areas, their dominant predator is the killer whale, which is also crazy. Just like, can you imagine just like you're underwater in like a submarine and you just see a moose and you're like, oh my god, a moose! What are you doing down here? And then suddenly it just gets eaten by a killer whale. And you're just like, oh. Like, just this is just nature being like unhinged. Just like, none of this made any sense. What's happening? But yeah, actually, I hear that happens a lot around like Seattle. Like moose or like just come out of the water, and you're just like, oh, why are you in the ocean, Mister Moose? But because they have that giant bay, so if you're just like on the islands and stuff, like not Seattle itself, obviously, but in like all the little towns surrounding it, it's just like giant, like 8 foot tall moose comes out of the water, and you're just like, oh, hi. But yeah, I just but I'd imagine hippo safety would be very similar to moose safety because I can't imagine they have that good of eyesight. Most of those like really big animals like that don't tend to have can't see very well. I wonder why that is actually. Like what it is about like being a big creature makes your eyes sight shitty. That's a question for a biologist, and Cell is not one. I actually wanted to do that once. Like legitimately, that was like an actual idea I had for like a career path at one point. Is I'm like, I want to be a biologist, and I want to like do like mad scientist biology, and then I was told that that's not what biologists are generally allowed to do, and I'm like, oh, I wanted to like make like like I wanted to like make like gorillas speak and like pine trees that made tea, caffeine tea, and so on and so forth. Or too late to conduct unethical experiments. I know. Why can't I be a mad scientist and do cool mad scientist things? We have to have all these ethics. I would have been nice to my creatures. Beyond the experiments, that is. That's the other thing. I always wonder why, like, they never seem to, like, whenever you see, like the like the big experiments, they're always like mean to their creatures, kind of. And I'm like, wouldn't it be best to treat them as well as possible to for like the for the experiment, just so that they have like the best life while they're around? Like, I don't know. Part of me is like, there's just some basic like ethics to a lot of that stuff that just like seems very common sense-y. Disrespect everyone. Fair enough, Sai. Also, hi, Sai. Um, but yeah, yeah. How did we get onto this subject? We're like 5 tangents in, and I've completely lost where we started from. Hold on. Where did how did we get here? We went from animation. I talked about animation. Then we talked about Dungeons and Dragons, and then I talked about, I don't know. There's a gap there. And then we were talking about Spy Kids. And then we talked about desk-sized elephants. Elephants are really smart. That went on to killer whales are really smart, but then went back to elephants, and then hippos in America, I think. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Killer whales. Killer whales have hostage situations. Yeah. Killer whales killer whales create hostage situations, and I think that's hilarious and awesome. They'll just hold other dolphin species hostage from their like pods and just be like, "Go get us things," and then they do. Or or Echo gets it. But yeah, I kind of want to play the Echo the Dolphin games at some point. Actually, I don't know anything about them, but I was told that they have like a really elaborate storyline that is like way more complicated than you would think, and like they're really hard. And there is, I believe, 4 of them, and the most recent Echo the Dolphin game was on PS2. And I'm just like, they made an Echo the Dolphin game for PS2? There was a 3D Echo the Dolphin game? I just know them as like one of Sega's weirdest franchises in a world with like Alex Kidd and Rystar, and that's like saying something, I think. Like, I still don't know what's going on in Alex Kidd, to be honest, and I've played that game mostly in like those Sega collections, but I've tried playing Alex Kidd, and I still don't know what's going on in that universe. Very Mario like, in that it's just like all super abstract stuff. You know what I mean? But yeah, crazy stuff. As I say, as I reference a like what 30-year-old video game that didn't even do well. Of course, y'all will know what I'm talking about. Anyway, but yeah, Echo the Dolphin. I actually kind of want to actually play those, just because I've heard that they're really weird. Um, and yeah, um, I my brain immediately dropped whatever I was. Um, uh, I recently discovered the musician Baby No Money. I love Alex Kidd. Yay! Hell yeah! Still knew what I'm talking about. Also finished Iron Fist. Let's go! I look like a belly dancer. I mean, that wasn't really the intention with the outfit, but I can, you know what, I can kind of see it. More of a discover. I told you about Baby No Money. I mean, I never listened to him until he popped up on my Spotify feed. And now I really like his new song. TwitchCon 2024, I took a pic with Swagger and him and showed you. I didn't know who he was at the time. And I only knew Swagger Souls because he did a video with Anthony from Smosh. So, it's Baby No Money. I thought it was Baby Nas. Yeah, no, I really like his new Czech song with the George Lopez theme. The yeah, not baby, literally BB. Yeah, no, I thought he was pronounced, but apparently it is pronounced Baby No Money. But yeah, no, I don't know. I have to discover things like organically. Like, I recently discovered, like I said, recently discovered Baby No Money. Wait. Okay, somehow it just from my thing. Yeah, no, Baby No Money, and then I also discovered a band that I really like called Bear Ghost, and they're like punk rocky. That's been my new music bands that I have been listening to a lot lately. Baby No Money and Bear hi, the Bear Ghost. But yeah, I also apparently he just did like a Hatsune Miku collab with him and Iron Mouse did like some big Hatsune Miku thing I heard about too. And I thought it was really funny cuz like that happened like as soon as I discovered his music. Sent you the pic if you okay. Yeah, yeah, that's you and Swagger Souls, and I guess that is that Baby No Money behind you? Your head's kind of covering most of his head. Like half of his face is covered by your face. But if that's baby, is that Baby No Money then? Kind of hard to tell. I'll be honest, I'm not so good with faces that I can recognize a man from one eye and a sideburn. Yeah, okay, that's really cool. That's super cool, Sal. I now have context for the thing you were excited about. Honestly, you know what? We should probably just like. Part of me almost wants to just be like, maybe I just need you to like actually just like sit me down and show me all these people. Because like I didn't know who like Kaisenet or I Show Speed were until you showed me, and now I see them everywhere, and I realize that I have been seeing them everywhere for a while, and just didn't know who they were, or didn't like they just didn't like register in my brain, I guess. So maybe I need to just have you sit me down and show me more things. Cause you seem way more in tune with what's like happening than I am half the time. Um, but yeah, uh, but yeah, no, I with actually I have a question or actually I don't want to. You're probably at work. I don't want to like sit and directly talk to you too much. I was gonna say, have you thought about what class or race you want to play as in D&D yet? But I was also like, because I feel like Motherly might have talked to you about that by now. Considering she apparently already has a whole character in mind now. But feel free to ignore said question. But yeah, um, yeah, um, do 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 do. Oh, I went to In and Out again the other day. By the other day, I mean day before yesterday. And this is the first time I went to In and Out in my town, in like where I live. Last time I went was in San Diego, and In and Out has the largest parking lot I've ever seen for a single business that's like for a restaurant ever. It had 6 rows of cars. Like it had like the same amount of parking. Like it had about the same amount of parking as my local grocery store. And it had like the biggest line I have ever seen at a fast food place ever. Like even beating out like the most popular of the places here. And like the food there isn't even that good. I was just like, hey, In-N-Out. I haven't been to In-N-Out pulled in since San Diego. I've never been to one here. Pulled in. It's like not even that like cheap. Or it's not even like cheap or anything. It was nuts. And I'm like, I guess I won't go to In-N-Out again with its 20-minute wait and no parking at all if I wanted to just go in. I think it's just become like a cool place to hang out for teenagers or something. Because everybody who was there seemed like a teenager. But I was just like, I just wanted a burger after work. Basically, I was just like, I haven't eaten today. Just need burger before bedtime. Hold the dragon gently like for hamburger. But yeah, why? But yeah, like I said, I kind of wanted to show off that like animation just because I really liked it, so I might do that here in a moment because I don't know. I've been seeing a lot of like cool little animations lately of like people just doing like a bunch of fan animation work, little like fan animations, and like just deciding to work on something. I kind of want to show that off. Anything else I wanted to talk about before we move on to like I guess um Max Payne. What do you guys think of this new hour for these new hours for stream? Like you guys like this? I don't know how long we're gonna end up with this, but some amount of time. Fantastic for my sleep schedule. Hell yeah! Honestly, legit. Like ever since I started getting ready for like the shift, like a day or so before, I've been waking up at like 8 o'clock naturally, and it is so weird to have a somewhat healthy sleep schedule, not going to bed at 4 a.m., going to bed around midnight, and waking up at about 8 a.m. Like, it's just like, it's so odd. Like, I'm so used to waking up, getting my coffee, and it being noon. Like, it's not even noon now, and I've already had coffee and breakfast, and, like, I showered and got dressed, and, you know, put a load of laundry in, you know, started stream, and it's only like 11, it's only just now starting to be, about to be noon. I'm like, yo, wait, what? But yeah, yeah, okay. So, I think I am going to go get another cup of coffee, most because I don't have anything to like hydrate with. I know coffee isn't hydration, but I'm gonna go get me another cup of coffee real quick, and when I get back, we're going to switch over to Max Payne. Is that if that sounds good to y'all? And we'll get working on getting Max Payne beat. Because as soon as we get Max Payne beat, then we can get Alan Wake 2's DLC beat, and then we can beat Cell with our skills, not with violence. Get more water in the liquid cooler. Maybe I should get like fill my water bottle up too while I'm at it. But we are gonna take a quick 2 or 3 minute break while I go get more liquids, and when we come back, I'll switch to Max Payne. All right. Although, also, just as a side note, I think after we're done with our little race with Cell, I think I might try to plan a couple days a week for us to start doing just chatting. I really enjoy this. I like doing this. So, anyway, I've been seeing a lot of people playing Remedy games now after the new Max Payne remaster and Control 2 got out there. Oh, for sure. Like like I think Remedy games have always been pretty trendy, but I feel like they're really like picking up steam. Like the reason I wanted to play Alan Wake actually was a combination of the webcomic Oh That's Raspberry playing through them, and because she just does little like scenes and jokes about games that she's playing as a webcomic, and at the same time, around the same time, the Game Awards had that whole musical number from Alan Wake 2 in the award show, and I'm like, what is Alan Wake? If this is from Alan Wake, then what is Alan Wake? I was just like, I need to know more about this franchise. And so I just was like, I'm playing that soon. Yo, Coco! Time for a fancy message with fancy stuff. Ooh. Background popular. A lot of people played them, but no one really talked about them. How do you do the fancy messages, actually? Does that work? Wait. It's probably one of those things in, like, updates that I glossed over. Here's a fancy message. My chat is glitched. It's got, like, a purple lava lamp thing around the outside. Paid with biddies. Yo, thank you for the biddies. I appreciate it. If that's how that worked. Actually, apparently they're changing the monetization now. Costs 20 bits. Oh, okay, like 20 cents. All right. But yeah, apparently they're changing the monetization now for Twitch. So now apparently there is no free version anymore. Like before, you could opt out of monetizing your Twitch channel at all. This is a fancy message paid with bits. Well, thank you for the bits. I like the fancy message. It's really cool. I really like that. But yeah, apparently they've removed the ability to be unmonetized on Twitch. Now, no matter what, if you make an account, you are monetized. With, I think, like, I can't remember what the smallest percentage is now, but if you make a Twitch account, you're just monetized by default. And they're doing that because people like Asmongold are apparently... So Asmongold and a couple other people had humongous accounts with millions of viewers, and he would stream on his unmonetized account all the time. Like more than like about half of all of his streams were on his unmonetized account versus his monetized one. And on stream, I don't know about other people. I just know what Asmongold did. On stream, he publicly did the math, and he's like, me streaming this costs Twitch about $1 million an hour because of my viewership. It just costs them that money to host it. So yeah, so now apparently everyone is monetized, and it's still worth it getting affiliate and partner because their percentage increases and so on and so forth. But apparently now everybody gets the I think it's everyone gets ad revenue now. Or I think it's technically now like, and it's like what, I guess they save up your pennies that you get from ad revenue until you make affiliate, I guess. Because like if I go to like ad revenue with like my viewership, I make like 13 cents. 13 cents a month or something like that. Like, hold on, I'll tell you what I actually earned from ad revenue. Ad revenue is like nothing. Earnings, ads, $1.50 in the last month. I have made $1.50 from ads. That is enough to buy me a soda. It would take me, and so the minimum payout is $50. So that would take me 50 to, oh god, math. Okay, hold on. 50 divided by 1.5. That would take me 33 months to get one payout from just ad revenue. Yippee! You got this. Use that built-in calculator you got. Thank you, Mac. I did it. But yeah, $1.50. Let's go. Don't spend it all at once. I know, right? You don't want to do that because who knows what you could do? Spend that $1.50 on, like a soda, maybe at a fountain soda, and what else is like $1.50? I don't think anything else is like $1 anymore. Like now that I'm thinking about it, like when I was a kid, I remember like candy bars being like 99 cents, like $1. But now like most candies are like $3, like 3.50. Which for the record, as a person who used to eat a lot, like who used to love candy, I'm really grateful that candy is really expensive now because I'm like, I'm not paying $3 for a candy bar. Something I will enjoy for 10 seconds. Like, I could go get like a pint of ice cream. If I wanted something sweet, I could go get a pint of ice cream for $6. And that's way less convenient to go get. So it's just like, why bother with a candy bar ever anymore? So, anyway, like, no point in ever getting candy. Too expensive for too little enjoyment. Part of the bourgeoisie now. Oh no. But yeah, no, I don't know anything else that's like $1.50 anymore. Like maybe like some gum. I think gum is pretty cheap nowadays still. I would just need to find like another 50 cents and I could get some gum. I think gum's like $2. Best way to eat sweet things is to make it at home, so much cheaper. Oh, right, right. Actually, like I got bored the other day and I had a craving for something sweet. So I made caramel. And I was trying to make caramel candies, like the chewy kind that you would chew on. But I messed it up apparently, and it ended up being a caramel sauce. So now I just have a mason jar full of caramel sauce in my fridge. And like I have taken like 2 spoonfuls out of it to satisfy like sweet cravings, but I'm also like, now what do I do with all this? I need to get like need to go to the store and buy like a couple apples or something to dip into it. Just take apple slices and like I don't know what else to do with it. Just like I don't want to just sit and eat spoonfuls of caramel. That's weird. It was like nice when it was like first freshly made, but now I'm like I kind of want to like use this for something if I'm going to like consume this. I got my caramel craving out of the way and now I just have anyway. It's ever like you ever just like make bread or something and you have one slice while it's all nice and hot and you're like, "Ooh, that was lovely." Or like and then you're afterwards you're just like, "Okay, I don't want this anymore." But you just have it now and you're just like, "Oh, yeah." Just didn't turn out in a convenient fashion at all. But anyway, I'm gonna go get me a quick hydrate. I'll be right back, and when I get back, we'll start Mad Max Max Payne. All right. Uh, okay, there we go. Uh, my computer decided to adjust what everything was so that it was taking my VR headset again. The source of audio. Um, but yeah, apparently these morning streams might already be done. I might actually already not have to do these after today. Isn't that crazy? But we might. Yeah, no, I just got texted. Apparently, they're already moving me off of that. So, who knows? Maybe I kind of like how we've been going anyway. So unless something changes, we might keep this up anyway. I might just start streaming longer and starting at like 9 a.m. That might be a fun way to change things up a little bit. But you know, because like in the scheme of things, like why haven't I been streaming early? There's no reason I have to, or I couldn't. But give me one moment, and I will get us all reconfigured. But a boop. As we switch to Max Payne 2. Bum 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 bum. Ba-na ba-na bum. Ba-na. And fun fact, interesting thing about Max Payne 2, it's got 2 categories in the Twitch database, each completely different. One is just Max Payne 2, and the other one is Max Payne 2: The Fall of Max Payne. They're one of those like superfluous broken categories on Twitch, apparently. All right. And ba-na-na-na. Wait. Wrong button. Bye-bye. And then game. There we go. My sleep. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for this. To be fair, I didn't mean to have any of the weird scheduling stuff happening. Okay, where were we? There we go.
I couldn't get her out of my head.
Okay, and then we come on over here. And oop.
Oh crap! Die!
And murder.